Hey guys, for those of you that might be first timers, my name is Robert Newman, and I am a real estate marketing expert that focuses on digital marketing specifically. That's in Southern California. It doesn't really matter where I'm located. I travel all over the place. But I've also founded a technology company, a real estate technology company that does WordPress websites that real estate agents own, and we focus on inbound marketing mostly. From the beginning, though, I've been blogging for a long time, since 2015, and the blog kind of inspired the business, and I've been doing reviews like this since actually 2007. So I've always dug in deep and taken a hard look at technology, and my objective with my reviews, including the one we're going to do tonight for KvCore/Kunversion, is to give you an honest, unbiased look at what this system does through the eyes of an expert, so that you in turn can make the best decision possible for your real estate marketing dollars. So with no further ado, let's jump into it. So you're looking at the back end of a KvCore account right now. I got an unusual opportunity. This is what is referred to as a single user license. So I am not going to talk much on the team functionality for Kunversion because I have not been able to look at it. I've only been able to look at the single user's license, so we're going to focus on that. We're going to kind of do a pros and cons. I'm going to do my review a little bit different than I usually do. I have a written outline of what's going to be in my blog post, and I'm really kind of focusing on a platform review. And some of my other reviews, I've talked about the company and a lot of other things. And I'm going to do that a little bit, but I'm going to kind of stay away from it a little bit with this review. I just want to see if getting more to the point is better received by my audience, or if people actually like all the background that I do. So, what we have with KvCore is you get what's called a template website. Okay, template website. They have a few different templates. This is a common one. All right, you probably recognize it if you're with EXP, like the example is, or if you're with another big broker. KvCore and Kunversion have a lot of these sites out there. Kunversion alone, I have read, has about 14,000 installs. I would imagine that KvCore probably has about half that, 7,000 maybe. Both, which makes this, like when you're talking about templates, they're all over the place, these particular templates. The nature of this product, it is a website CRM transaction manager. That's what you're buying when you buy a membership for $499 a month, which is what both Kunversion and KvCore cost. So it's about $499. $499 puts this on the inexpensive side of platforms and makes it the cheapest all-in-one platform that you can invest in that has a large user base. I haven't looked at every single one, but I have looked at most of the big ones. So what we have here is, let's talk about the CRM. You can see that they have things broken out in a certain way in the dashboard. In theory, the way that this site is supposed to generate you traffic, it's 100% what's called a paid platform kind of service. They do have a couple things in the back of the dashboard that infer there's some SEO value to the site. There's not. There's none. Maybe in one or two extreme cases there will be some kind of SEO that comes to the site. I did see something that was identified as an organic lead in the account that I was looking at. I don't believe that there's very much organic value at all. Organic is where you're found naturally somewhere. This is mostly you're going to pay money to pay-per-click or Facebook marketing, and that is what's going to send visitors to these tools. As a general rule, I tend to feel like platforms that rely only on that to drive traffic is a huge con. So if I'm doing a pros and cons, that's a con. Site's extremely easy to set up and extremely fast to set up because it's extremely simple and they're all built the same. But the speed of launch is a pro. You can probably get one of these sites up in just a few days, I would think. And then you could do some marketing into these pages, and you could probably literally maybe have a chance at seeing some low quality leads within 7 days of buying the platform, which makes it one of the fastest to market options that you can look at when you're talking about all the services that are available. Like bold leads is pretty fast. That can get up and going in about a week. This can get up and going in about a week. Sync won't be up and going in about a week, but nor will Boomtown. Both of those systems have longer implementation cycles. So this one, speed to market, that's a pro. Speed to be able to get it into a marketing position is a pro. All right. So you have your CRM. One of the things that is definitely con for me with KvCore, do you see all these screen pops? Everything takes about 10, 15, 20, 30 seconds per screen pop. That's because this is a cloud-based application. And as a general rule, with all these installs that they have, they probably doing infrastructure charges for very large cloud-based services. That's where everybody is using kind of like the same application. Infrastructure costs a lot of money. So these guys have chosen not to necessarily invest in money to have super fast back-end screen pops. So if you're trying to use this system to do, let's say, high volume calls, which is something that they put in all their literature over and over again, I don't think it would be really possible. Not my definition of high volume, that's for sure. Having said that, you do get this view here with the CRM. Now I'm going to refer to over to my notes. You get alerts, lead management, and lead source. This is the lead source over here. Alerts are where you could go to your dashboard and have, and I'll just show you that real quick. Well, I'm not going to show it to you real quick because it doesn't pop really quick, but I'm going to show it to you. You get new leads, new texts, new emails. You get calls, tasks, calendar, and my business. Essentially, is all of this good? Yes. I don't like the slowness in which the system operates, and you're probably going to hear me refer to it because it's a little bit frustrating to go through something that's so slow. These kind of blurry boxes that you're looking at are properties. And part of what the system does is it allows you to email or text. It also, you could click into the property and you could basically see the activity on that particular property. What's happening is there's names at the top or usernames, one or the other, actual client names or usernames. And this is showing you what your people using your platform have actually done on the property. In other words, have they looked at it? And if so, when did they look at it? And now you could call, email, or text that particular lead as associates with this property. Now, I would imagine that there's probably a couple of really skilled, high volume, outbound hunters out there that probably use this system to a great deal of effect, and maybe they use that exact strategy. My experience with real estate professionals over the last 12 years and talking to thousands of you all over the country is that very few people are going to have the time to run through and use this particular feature where they're calling. The only time where I think it would make sense is if, let's say, you saw these alerts and then you realized that somebody from your sphere of influence was using the system, and now you see a particular property. So maybe you go ahead and text them and say, hey, I saw you looking at 123 Aquadulsa the other night, and I just want to let you know that I know that neighborhood. There's a great school that Kenny and Bobby can go to. If you have any questions about that, you can shoot me back a text. And if you're doing that strategy, I suspect that that would be very effective. But I don't know of anybody that's going to go through this dashboard and really truly look at these alerts. Now, they do have a system, part of the Smart CRM, that takes the information, the quality of the information, and they're not really clear about all the metrics that they're looking at. But basically, if they can scrape the internet and get like a name, address, telephone number, and they saw that maybe that the lead has been uploaded that by you, so it's a sphere of influence, they give it some stars. Like, again, a lot of this is going to be blocked out, but I'm going to probably try to leave the stars. But you can see here that there's a couple stars. Everything else is blank. So the system that they're talking about, that where they make a big deal of it in their marketing videos, in an actual performance-based platform, you're not getting too many ratings. You're not actually, it's not, well, at least in this example, it doesn't seem to be relevant. And I don't think it's that relevant for that many accounts. So in terms of a pro or a con and their CRM and some of the stuff that they're advertising in the videos that you can see, con. In terms of some overall things, there is one function in here that I really do like: mass email, mass text. You can click mass email. It's going to check all the boxes here on the left-hand side, or you can check all the boxes just by doing this, and you can mass email. Does it do it with all emails collectively? No, you have to do it page by page, which makes this email and mass texting feature even a little bit painful. There does appear to be a way that you could get up to 100 at a time, which is pretty cool. But still, you're not able to mass email or text everybody. And most likely, again, practical application, you're probably going to run through here and pick the leads that you're going to email or mass text, making this, again, a feature that I think very few people would use. So once again, it's just something like, I'm not really going to say it's a pro or a con. I'm just going to simply say it's a bell or a whistle that sounds great when they're selling it to you. How about that? Let me see here. The one thing I do like a lot, and is as good as anything I've ever seen, is they do appear to be on top of their source game. A source is, where did your lead come from? For those of you that are watching this video that are brokers and are thinking of this, or small brokers, most likely if you're watching this video, you understand that if you're going to do 3 or 4 sources for calls and you want to try to track the lead from birth to ROI potential, that having a source is very helpful. The people that do source information the best is Follow Up Boss and these guys. It's not that you can't get that information for Sync and Boomtown and other platforms, but it's not as integrated as nicely at all. So this is a great feature. We're going to put it definitely in the pro category. All right. So having said that, the next feature is listings. Okay. Once again, a lot of this information is going to be blank, probably not the pictures, but all the text information, a lot of it. The listings does, you get filters basically that come with this, such as your listings, MLS listings, agency filters. You get digital distribution. You can email or text a particular listing. You get, I think, one of the coolest features, which is a pro. Most of this falls into the, it's not much better or much worse than other systems. You do get an interesting view over here where you can kind of see last view. This is assuming, like, this is telling you how much money it would be if you sold this property. I'm not sure how I feel about that. I'm sure it's convenient for a lot of you, but I just kind of feel like it's a little bit mercenary. But that's probably a piss poor opinion. I do, however, like this a lot. General features, assessment features. One of the main selling points that Kunversion and KvCore mention in their video that I did like, but your clients won't understand it, is they said, hey, this information is coming directly from your MLS, which means it's accurate. And I believe that. From what I've seen, I do believe that they have a better system and like more accurate information. But here's the problem that all of you as real estate professionals are going to have. That's one of those weird sales claims that's going to do you no good. And why is it going to do you no good? Because the 3 big platforms that provide listings, Realtor.com, Trulia, and Zillow, or Homes.com. Maybe I'm getting confused but anyway, there's 2 or 3 big platforms that provide listings, and they still provide 10, 15, 20%. There's been efforts that have been made to improve the quality of the data, but it's far from reliable. They being your audience, unless you take the time to educate them, will not know that you're using a system where the data is more reliable. So they're just going to assume that everything is probably not necessarily accurate, unless you've done a really good job of pre-marketing to these guys, and you can't really do that on KvCore. You can't install videos of you very easily throughout the site. You can make landing pages that have video, but it's not that easy. It's not intuitive, and you can't do what you can do with like WordPress as an example. This is not a comparative system. You're kind of stuck in the outlines of what they give you, and what they give you is okay, but it's not great. My marketing automation. Marketing Autopilot is probably exactly what most of you think it is. You can do drip campaigns. You can do you can schedule mass emails. And honestly, in terms of the robustness of the system, almost everybody beats these guys. It's not that they don't have this stuff that they say that they have. They do. One, it's not intuitive, it's a little hard to use, and two, everything that I'm discovering about KvCore requires a lot of clicks, like you got to kind of step through the system quite a bit in order to use any of these functions, and I think it would end up being very specific for very specific realtors that would find things like this useful. I think that why KvCore and Kunversion probably have such a large install base is that most likely, since the price is reasonable, because it is reasonable, people are keeping this whole platform for one or two pieces of functionality that they like, and then using other platforms in addition to that. The person that gave me access is doing that exact thing, and I know quite a few other examples of people that are as well. Okay, we're on to lead engine. This is a pretty standard feature. This is just landing pages, and even though they're identifying them as IDX squeeze pages, which is a slightly different type of marketing, it's just another form of landing page. So I'm not going to like spend the time explaining the difference between the two. They're both landing pages. CMA Builder, that's market reports, which I have not had a chance to see. I can provide no opinion. All of this functionality in general is okay. It's in line with the price of the platform, which on a scale of 1 to 10, I'd give it about a 5. Again, you've got landing pages. These are slightly easier to use than Real Geeks, as an example, but not as easy to use on every other platform that you care to mention. Boomtown builds your landing pages for you. Sync doesn't, but they have more of ability to create a slightly more robust landing page within the system. Real Estate Webmasters, they provide a much better landing page building system inside the back of their website, but it's much more complicated. One of the things where KvCore scores very highly is that when you turn on the site, you get 10 videos queued up that show you how to use the system. I went through about 10 to 15 of their training videos, and they're all very good. So in terms of a pro, I'm going to say that KvCore and Kunversion probably win on every single other platform in terms of the stuff that you can find publicly on YouTube. If you just took your own time, you could easily learn a lot about this platform without even watching my review. And then they have hidden videos that are as part of the system too. So they have a lot of videos included. Now you can pay for training, but they give you the option to learn yourself, and I like that because I just reviewed Sync not so long ago, and they don't even provide any. You have to pay for training, and Boomtown wraps the charge for training inside of their overall cost, and Real Estate Webmasters just charges you a small ransom to build anything with them. So all of that's just built into their fee, even though they don't do video tutorials, and I think that they assign an account manager to you, but I'm not even sure about that. All right, transactions, exactly what it sounds like. They do integrate .loop, broker mints, SkySlope, other transaction stuff, and now you can have the transaction here. What is the coolest feature about the transactions? And this is totally 100% unique to Kunversion and KvCore, making it one of my favorite features and probably wildly overlooked, is that once you upload a transaction, of which there are none in here to look at, you can actually find out where the lead initiated. So in other words, you get a birth to post-production source. So in terms of your accounting, like if you wanted to know what marketing is paying you off in what way, this system does a better job of that than any I've seen. For that one thing, I'm very excited for it. It's massive pro in the pro section, and probably one of those things that I mentioned. Also, the fact that you can track your transactions at all. Like, are they funded? Where are they at? You get to update people automatically, update the client, update the lender, update the agent, so on and so forth. The fact that transactions is so cleanly added into the back of the platform makes this, again, makes this a big pro also. And one of the few systems that actually encloses everything in here. Not the only one, just there's only a handful. I think I'm not sure about Sync. Boomtown doesn't do it. LionDust does, but they're not really a website. This is all going to be shaded out. So this is website and IDX. Hopefully I will have left this up here, but in case I don't, it says site content, blog, embeds, and widgets. The CRM for this system is anemic, absolutely anemic. So it's bad. I'm not even gonna lie to you. They have this thing that says connect Zillow reviews or add testimonials, so you're copying and pasting, and they probably have a widget that automatically plugs in here in terms of site content. You've got embeds. Service areas and SEO is something that just uploads a whole bunch of pre-made pages onto the site. Since anybody else in your area is going to be using the exact same widget and the exact same functionality, and the page is going to look exactly the same, you're actually going to get pinged from Google for duplicate content. I doubt that very many people who are using the system understand SEO or anything remotely like it in order to understand what the dangers are of using a template system, and that's certainly one. So the site is almost utterly worthless for SEO. They shouldn't even have it in the back here in terms of the language. I understand that they put it here probably because a lot of you ask about it. These are not SEO sites, just so put it out of your brain. The only way you're going to drive traffic here is by paying for it. Seller evaluation, that's a cool add-on though. It's an add-on page that just does seller evaluations. I thought that was pretty neat. In terms of marketplace, you've got some pretty cool add-ons here. You've got, you can prettify your design. You've got the ability to add a phone number. Testimonials, your advertising campaigns can all be brought here. BrokerSumo, which is one of the coolest add-ons is here. That wouldn't be for this install because this is a single user license. You've got DocuSign stuff, buyer, Facebook buyer advertising. So Marketplace is exactly what it sounds like. It's where they sell you the add-on features. I don't really know if I feel like this is a pro or con. In terms of other people that have add-ons, like Bold Leads is a lot better. A lot of systems out there. Sync is a lot better. Almost everybody's better. So yes, these guys do have some stuff to add on. They're not ahead of the curve. They're behind it. So probably a con. Certainly not a high ranking. Business analytics is exactly what it sounds like. It's just people using your site. And what does that look like? Sphere, contacts, active leads, so on and so forth. Source performance, KvCore activity, consumer interest, agent performance. I'm probably going to have to blur some stuff out when this loads. I don't even know what that screen pop was. All right. Anyway, you can see like how slow and unwieldy this is. There was, I don't know if I'm going to keep it in this video, but there was just a mystery screen pop that had nothing to do with the account that I was looking at. Who knows what that is? KvCore activity, lead nurture, phone calls, lead nurture automation, lead responses. In terms of lead automation, the system is again at the bottom of the stack. Neither Sync nor KvCore do it very well. Bold Leads does it very well. LionDesk does it okay. Most of these systems require a lot of time, sometimes even classes, so that you can just go through here and use them and understand how possibly to get the best possible return. Because obviously you probably know that you want to automate your certain parts of your follow-up. But now here's the million-dollar question. Which part? And what emails do you use? And are you using a combination of email and text messages? And this system isn't really telling you, and it's not really setting anything up for you. And most other systems do have at least a couple templates for you to look at, or they've set it up for you. Again, top of class in this area, Bold Leads. And these guys somewhere towards the bottom of the stack. So you're getting what you pay for with your $500 licensing fee. But again, if you are a new, I'm gonna wrap this up, and I'm gonna give you a final assessment. Here's what I think that KvCore and Kunversion are probably best suited for. If you are a small broker or somebody who's just getting out started and you need some of these functionalities and you have a lot more time than you have money, KvCore does give you some core functionalities that are pretty cool. They give you a website that's active very fast. If you have a small budget for marketing, you could send it into the site. They're second best at everything. Honestly, if you're just looking for leads, Bold Leads is a lot better. But if you need a website, then I think KvCore would be my second choice because of the cost. They're less expensive than everybody else by a good margin. So that makes it appealing from that part. But you don't own anything. You're getting a template website that looks like everybody else's. It's not ugly. It's not terrible, but it's also really not that great. So it's okay. And everything operates kind of jerkily and weird, and that's not great either. But it's cost effective. So I'm going to say that, you know, on a scale of 1 to 10, well, you know what? Never mind. I don't do that. It's late. It's raining. I'm going to say that this is, for a very certain audience, this is a good platform. And the funny thing is that this platform has like one of the largest user bases of any system. I think it's because of the cost, and I think it's probably because single users like agents have been told so often, so frequently that they need this kind of system. I think a lot of people have gotten like a brokerage deal on this. Like somebody goes out and buys a whole bunch of seats on the platform, so now you have it and you're handed it. And I don't know, I talk to a lot of people that are told that they aren't really told how to use it, and that's okay because it's really not all that intuitive. The other thing that they give you with this is a mobile application where basically it takes all the things out of its dashboard and then sends it to your cell phone. But it's making the assumption that you're doing like a high volume of calls off your cell phone. I've been in sales 30 years, and while I might make a couple calls off my cell phone, certainly when I'm driving and things like that, I am not going to be making high volume calls off my cell phone. So once again, I question the effectiveness of the dialer. And that's not to say there aren't users that aren't getting a high degree of use. Maybe there's people that are sitting in a coffee bar for 8 hours and the dialer is helping them be productive, and all they're doing is going bang, 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 because some phone plans, you're not getting charged for calls. So maybe there are people doing high volume telemarketing kind of operations off their cell phone in the middle of their workday. It's not what I would do, but that has no bearing on this review. You have to look at it from what would you do. That's it, guys. I hope you found the review helpful. It went a little longer than I intended because I did a real deep dive into the platform and its functionalities. If you did like the review and you've stuck with me this long, please thumbs up it if you liked it. And if you didn't like it, don't thumbs down me. No, I'm just kidding. You can thumbs down me or leave me a comment. I would really, you know, I've said this in many different places. We do our best. We don't always get it right. So if you have some constructive criticism, I'd love to hear it. All right. Thanks for tuning in. I appreciate it. Good night.